Supreme Court of India, and he was a member in Mughal committee to give the report on the match fixing on cricket team and other game and other issues. And more particularly, in the website it was, the information was given that he was the lawyer in Karnataka High Court on behalf of the former Chief Minister at the time, Mrs. J. Jayalalitha, who was acquitted. In that case, he was the advocate. In so many cases, he is the advocate, and he contributed much as an advocate to the Indian legal system. And we expect more and more judgments through his judgments to the Indian constitutional jurisprudence. And actually, Justice Marshall's judicial craftsmanship, Lord Dening's pragmatism, and the predecessor's contribution to the Indian Supreme Court may be upheld, may be continued by Honorable Justice Rao Nageswara Garu. So he is a dynamic lawyer, and he proves to be a dynamic judge under Indian constitutional and judicial system. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Request our Chief Speaker, Justice Rao Nageswara Garu, to deliver the endowment lecture.
Dear students, good morning. It is but customary to speak about the person in whose name the lecture is endowed. Unfortunately, I don't have a personal acquaintance with Mr. Venkataraman, who worked here as the principal of the college, the university colleges. I have delivered a few endowment lectures, and I have also attended a few which were delivered by the judges of the Supreme Court, High Court, and even eminent personalities in public life. But this is the first lecture which I have seen which is endowed in the name of a professor. I am very happy that a person of the teaching faculty is remembered by these lectures. We all know the importance of a teacher in the lives of students. He is the architect of the future of the students in any university or in any college. Teachers are the persons who mold the lives of students, and then they are the beacon lights insofar as the careers of students are concerned. I am very pleased. It's a pleasure that I am delivering this endowment lecture in the name of Professor Venkataraman. I have been practicing law before becoming a judge about 1.5 years back, for more than 30 years. I have always believed that learning law is the prime object of a law student and the lawyer. In our country, every profession is taken up for livelihood. People have to live. But the role of a lawyer is more than that of any other professional, because he owes a very important duty to the society apart from his own livelihood. Every lawyer, which the law students are going to be in the future, should be well versed with the Constitution of India. The document through which this country is governed, which governs the lives of each individual in this country is to be imbibed thoroughly by law students as well as lawyers, because they are the persons who advise the common man about his rights. The topic is dynamics of life, personal liberty and privacy. You must be knowing the definition of dynamics. Dynamics is the growth of a particular person or a particular branch. So I have to speak to you about the rights and how the rights are developed. So let us first deal with life. Life, personal liberty and privacy being the topic, I will tell you about what I understand about this right to life. All of us are living. Why should we need any further right? And what is this liberty that is being spoken of, which is protected by the Constitution? In the Constituent Assembly, which discussed for about 2.5 years as to how the Constitution has to be made, there were several discussions about fundamental rights of citizens in this country. As law students, you must be knowing that there is a part 3 of the Constitution which speaks of fundamental rights which are basic to every human being, which are primordial and which are inalienable, which means that you cannot barter away your fundamental rights. What are these fundamental rights? These are basic rights of a human being to live with dignity. How do you understand dignity? As all of us are Telugu people, and directly translate what is dignity. Dignity ante gauravam. Every person, every individual in this country has a right to live with dignity. And to live with dignity, there are certain rights that have to be assured, which he can enforce against the government. And those rights are mentioned in the fundamental rights. Your principal was mentioning about B.N. Rao visiting the United States of America and then having a discussion with Justice Frankfurter about how our fundamental rights have to be framed. Justice Frankfurter was a student of Professor Thayer of the Harvard University. You must have heard about Harvard University. And Professor Thayer's opinion from the beginning has been that the governance of a country should be in the executive, and not too much powers have to be conferred on the courts to interfere with the governance of the country. There is a clause in the US Constitution, especially 2 articles deal with due process. There's article, the 4th Amendment as well as the 14th Amendment deal with the due process clause, which means that any statute that is made by the Parliament, that is the Congress or the Senate, which makes the laws, any law that is made can be challenged in a court of law, like the Supreme Court, if somebody goes and challenges the Constitution, the constitutional validity of the statute. It can be struck down as being violative of a due process clause. There is another theory called substantive due process. I will not take you too much into this because we will be weaning away from the main topic itself. But I will come back to what the discussion was. on this principle of due process, during that period of time in the 1920s and 30s, a number of statutes were declared as unconstitutional by the US Supreme Court. And if any of you have taken the interest and read the recent 9 judges judgment of Puttaswamy, Justice Chandrachud gives the exact number of statutes which have been struck down by the court during that period to be 156. So many statutes. And the then President Eisenhower, in retaliation, thought of increasing the number of the strength of the Supreme Court from 9 to 25. He thought the Supreme Court is standing in his way, interfering with the governance. The recommendation made by Justice Frankfurter to B.N. Rao about how the rights of life of an individual in a democracy have to be protected was that please don't use this word due process, because that might lead to problems of judicial review. Judicial review in excess of what the executive might think of. So, the due process, which was part of the discussions during the Constituent Assembly, was changed, and the Japanese Constitution, which was framed again by the US, was followed, and we have taken Article 31 of the Japanese Constitution, and our Article 21 of the Constitution now says that your life and personal liberty cannot be taken away except in accordance with the procedure prescribed by law. These are not the exact words, but this is what it is. It's called established by law, procedure established by law. So what is it that is protected under Article 21 now? Article 21 says your life and personal liberty cannot be taken away. During the course of discussions, liberty was there and personal was added to liberty because of B.N. Rao making a point saying that if you don't add personal liberty, even legislations where prices are fixed for commodities also can be subject matter of litigation before court, saying that liberty is taken away. So they use the word personal liberty. And that's how you have Article 21. And life, as has been interpreted by the Supreme Court, and as to how these rights are developed, there was an indication coming from the speaker before me. In Munn versus Illinois, Justice Field, for the first time, said that life doesn't mean animal existence. It says something more than animal existence. Every individual should have the right to live with dignity. During this 65 to 67 years after independence, as and when individuals approach court asserting their rights or fighting for their rights, complaining about excesses by the executive in interfering with their daily lives, there has been a vast improvement on the thought process of the judiciary in expanding the scope of this word life that occurs in Article 21. Initially, right to livelihood was not part of right to life. Somebody going in saying that I don't have livelihood was not accepted by the court. From Bombay said that even right to livelihood is included in right to life. To start with, a right to life would mean that you have a right not to be put in jail without any charges, not to be punished for something which you haven't done, not to be interfered with in your daily activities, and the guarantees that are given by the Constitution which have been read into right to life is to have right to clean air, right to have free education, insofar as primary and secondary are concerned, with the act that has come into Article 21 to ensure that the existence of a person in this democracy is not mere animal existence, but a meaningful existence to protect his dignity. This is how the development of right to life has been all these years. And the most important aspect of how Article 21 developed insofar as right to life is concerned is intricately connected with the second aspect of our topic now, which is personal liberty. And the third aspect, which is a subset of personal liberty, which is privacy. These are very important issues, and I would concentrate today on this personal liberty and privacy. Once I deal with personal liberty and privacy, which are a part of right to life, that would give a wholesome meaning about how Article 21 has developed and the dynamics of Article 21. What is liberty? Again, I tell you, in Telugu, liberty is swecha. You have liberty to do whatever you want. That's what a democracy is all about. To think in the manner you want, to have your thoughts, to have your beliefs, to practice the religion of your choice, to go to a movie if you want, to have spent time with your friends and with whomever you want to spend. The liberty is something which is unlimited and which is really not tangible. It can be in your mind, it can be your thought process. It need not be what you experience. Experiencing is feeling happy, eating well, eating good food, or doing whatever you want. Apart from that, whatever you want to think about, whatever you want to do, is all covered in the liberties. And these liberties, some of them are expressed in Article 19 of the Constitution. As law students, you might have read about Article 19, which are the freedoms that are given to you. Right to association, right to speech, right to carry on your business. All these are mentioned in Article 19. These are the liberties which are specified. Initially, I don't know whether I can mention cases to you, but as law students, I think I should take the liberty of telling you when we're talking about the dynamics, I should. In a judgment that was delivered in the 1950s, A.K. Gopalan, the majority decided that Article 21 is a right which is residuary. Whatever is not mentioned in Article 19 is covered by Article 21. Article 19 are the rights which are enumerated, which are specified. Whereas Justice Fazal Ali in his dissent said that it can't be. He said that they are overlapping, which means a person has all these rights, amalgamated rights which are conferred on every individual in this country. I will skip what happened in between, but in the bank nationalization case, which is called Cooper's case, 11-judge bench said that the majority in Gopalan is not correct, and Article 19, that is the rights of liberty that are mentioned in Article 19 and Article 21 coexist, they overlap. And ultimately in Maneka Gandhi in 1978, the Supreme Court Constitution, in speaking through Justice Bhagwati, he approved, with approval, he did not approve 11 judges, with approval, he said that the law is this, that both are overlapping, and if somebody goes to court complaining of violation of a particular fundamental right, the government has to satisfy that there is no violation of that fundamental right which is assured, but also Article 21, Article 19, Article 14, etc. When I am speaking of liberties and the dynamics of growth, in the recent Puttaswamy judgment again, Justice Nariman